Should I buy a home in 2021? Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to talk about is now the right time to buy a home in 2021. So, should you buy it this year or should you wait? That's basically it. We'll go through the article I picked up, and I have some commentary, and we'll go from there. So, stick around for the word of the day. Always a favorite, and let's get started. So here we go. Who should buy a house in 2021, and who should wait? And so it says, should I buy a house now? It's no secret that the housing market is hot right now. Still, that hasn't stopped home buyers. Despite rising home prices, low supply, and near constant bidding wars, Americans are buying homes in record numbers. So, I did see a little stat here. It says, according to the National Association of Realtors, more homes were bought in 2020 than any year since 2006. And what happened in 2007? So, I just went through the pros and the cons and what they wrote and what I think about it. So the pros of buying a house right now, so in 2021, low interest rates. And so I agree with that. The interest rates have been low now for at least a year. Number two, rising home values create equity. This one, I don't agree so much. So can the market go higher? Yes. When can it go higher? We don't know. But in 2007, people bought houses believing that the prices were going to go up forever, and they didn't. I would say if you're buying a house today, you're probably going to have to live in your house for a while before you see any equity. Therefore, if you know you're not moving in a year, buying a home in this market is not for you. And number three, plenty of mortgage options. Okay, there's thousands of mortgage options pretty much anytime. There's no reason to buy a house today because there are a lot of mortgage options. There will still be a lot of options tomorrow and forever. This is not a reason to buy a house. So I don't see that as, I see that as right. So then they got the cons of buying a house in 2021. So low inventory, which is true. Low inventory causes higher prices, mainly. Number two, competition from cash buyers. This may be true, but I don't see it as a con. If you bid more for a house, you may get it. If it doesn't appraise, you can still bring cash to the table to cover the difference. So a lot of people get intimidated. They say they hear that someone went with an all cash offer. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, one, it can be not contingent on financing. Okay, so it's a removal of a contingency, and it can also be if it doesn't appraise and there's no appraisal writer, it's not contingent on an appraisal. So people think when their agent tells them you lost out to an all cash buyer, people think, well, nobody's ever going to take my mortgage. That's not true. People will take your mortgage if you have the highest price and the lowest amount of contingencies. Now, if it were the exact same offer and one had a mortgage and one didn't, no, it's never going to be the exact same offer because you're always going to be contingent on financing with a mortgage. So, and then number three, tougher mortgage standards. I have not run across this. If a buyer is qualified, they will be able to buy a house. That is, they have proof of income and their income to debt ratio is in line. As far as sellers less likely to accept FHA and VA loans, that's on them. I always look at it as when I'm listing houses, bring your offer and worry about the details later. So say there's an FHA offer and there's more money on the FHA offer than there is in a different offer. Well, we're going to pick the FHA offer. That's just the way it is. I don't see why you would tell somebody why would you tell a buyer's agent, hey, don't write an offer because it's FHA? Write the offer, bring it forward, and let's see if it works out. That's real estate. That's how you work as a real estate agent. It's strange to me what people do. So the next question was, should you rent instead? And I have a little story. I had a buyer's mom yesterday say that she should rent versus buy. I thought it was curious because the lady's a property manager for a large apartment complex. She has seen risen rents on her units over the past couple of months to the point where it'd be cheaper to buy than rent. When you rent, there's no equity built. That's reason enough alone to buy, unless you're planning on moving for a job or you expect your life to dramatically change over the next year. Then rent. But don't rent at the top of your budget. Save for a bigger down payment on your house. So if you can afford $1,400 a month for rent, maybe see if you can find something that's not so great for $1,000. Okay, maybe $700. I know those places aren't really easy to find right now. But the key is don't go way up to the top of your rental budget and then not be able to save for a home. At least you can build equity in a home. So should you rent instead? No. If say there's a life-changing event that you need to buy a house, or you want to buy a house, then go buy a house. Don't say, well, I want to buy a house, but I'm going to rent. It doesn't work that way. And then who should buy a house now? You should have the budget to pay above asking price, which is often required to win a bidding war. This is true, but it's always true. Okay. You should buy a house if you are able to pay cash for the home purchase. And I don't agree with that. If you have strong credit and a solid job and there's no need to have cash, to pay 100%. Now, you may want to have cash for if it doesn't appraise. The difference between what the mortgage company is going to lend you and what you can, what it's going to appraise for. Now that's fine, but even people I know that have plenty of money usually use a mortgage. You should buy a home if you live in an area where home buying demand is low and prices are more manageable. And I don't know where that place would be. I mean, if we're talking about suburbs of major cities in the United States, I suspect they're all overheated. We're talking about urban areas. Or suburban or the rural areas, the places I was looking recently, there was no discount for buying out there. And then you should buy a house now if you are working from home and have the flexibility to move to a lower cost housing market. And I don't know where there's a lower cost housing market. I just don't know where it would be. So, that's that. And then finally, if you are willing to consider distressed properties, not move-in ready ones that may need a little more work. And so this is a strategy that many use regardless of the current market. So I don't understand, why that would be buy a house now. Buy a house like that anytime. Sometimes, and what I have to tell buyers a lot of times is, look at the price of this home that they're asking. By the time you put your new kitchen and your new bathroom in there, you're going to be spending more money than what houses are going for right now. So does that make a lot of sense? It's just something that I see now. These are the things. Who should wait? So who should wait to buy a home in 2021? You should wait if you'd really need to stretch your budget to afford today's prices. And this is true in any market. Assume that you require a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in a particular area. Let's say your max budget is $200,000 and the cheapest 3-bedroom, 2-bath available is just sold for $250,000. It's just not going to work. But that's in any market. And then who should wait? You should wait if you'd have to buy a home that doesn't meet your needs or would require too much sacrifice due to price. But this happens all the time. Isn't this the same? You're going to wait because you can't afford a different house. But you weren't really going to buy anyway. That's why I don't understand that. But anyway, you should also wait if you can't qualify for a good mortgage, which would mean paying even more for your home in the long run. If you can't qualify for a good mortgage rate, you might still want to buy now and then refinance when your situation improves. Are low rates here forever? No one knows. And that's true. I think that if you can't qualify for a good mortgage rate and you still want to buy a home, that's on you. You're making a decision and go with it. Now, I'm a real estate agent. I don't want you to think that I'm not biased, but you either make a decision to buy a house or not. The timing is kind of secondary. And then you should also wait if the market you want to buy in is particularly hot or competitive, meaning it'd be very hard to find a home you can afford. Again, this is true in any market. There are always going to be homes that you can afford and others that you can't. So then I just wanted to add my thoughts on it. And that is, if you feel like now is the right time to buy a house, get out there and make it happen. If you feel like it's not the right time, don't. There are many people locked up right now where they could and do want to sell their house, but the house they want to buy doesn't offer as much as their current home, and it actually costs more. So, you're not really moving up if you have to pay more for less of a house. And then another thought was, if you're Googling whether or not it's a good time to buy a house, I wonder if that's the wrong question. Perhaps take the steps to inquire with a mortgage company or talk to a real estate agent. If either of them are any good, you'll probably get a pretty good sense of what to do in this market. So you, as the buyer, should drive your decision, and it should be based on the need. You shouldn't buy based, like, the market's always going to change. There's not, I mean, is there going to be a time when you can find a great deal coming up? Maybe. When is that going to be? I don't know. So if your life events cause you to need a home right now, then buy a home. It's that simple. So, word of the day today is propitious. And propitious means giving or indicating a good chance of success and favorable. So, is now the propitious time to buy a house? So that's what I had for you today. You know, uh, just a thought. You know, say you want to buy a house in a year. You've decided that that's when you want to buy a house. Talk to an agent that you trust and that you like now. If it's like somebody like myself, I'm not going to push you to buy a house right now. I'll say, let's look at the listings, let's look at the marketplace, and whenever you're comfortable, let's go look at houses. If that's today or next year, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not going to manufacture some sort of urgency just for my wallet. It's not worth it to me. So go out and find an agent that you like. Go out and find a mortgage broker and says, hey, I'd like to buy a home in a year. What do I need to do to get it, the best rate possible? There's still things that you can do on your credit that can help. The rates may be different, but the market may be different. You never know. Gosh, think of all the things that have happened in the past decade. Did you really think that all those things, I mean, did you predict any of those things? No, no. And buying a home is one of those things where, look, just go buy a house if you think that you want to buy a house and that makes sense. Make sure that you want to stay in it for a while, because if things go down or something, then you want to still have a roof over your head. But you make the choice. You do it, because you're gonna be the one living there, and you're gonna be the one that's facing any consequences or any benefits for having made the decision. So trust your instinct. I'm sure you guys are good at it. So with that, I just want to say thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the next one.